Good afternoon, and thank you for watching this 2D tutorial. My name's Corey, and in this video I'm going to be walking you through some of the basics of setting up your documents in Illustrator CS5. Illustrator's pretty much the industry standard for vector-based graphic design. It's really powerful, but it can also be pretty intimidating to a new user. So let's go ahead and start from the very beginning by setting up your document. Let's go ahead and open up Illustrator. You'll see the opening splash screen, and that should lead you to the welcome screen. If you don't see the welcome screen, you can activate it by going up to Help and clicking Welcome Screen. Now you can also customize whether or not you see this screen when you first open up Illustrator by going down to this checkbox and clicking for not to show it again, or leaving it unclicked for having it pop up every time you open Illustrator. I personally like this screen because it gives you a centralized place where you can see your last few recent projects you've been working on, or it gives you the list of Illustrator's presets for setting up a document, whether it be a print document or a video document, web document, etc. For this tutorial, I'm going to go ahead and assume that we're all doing print documents, so let's click Print Document, and that will bring up our new document window. Now, if you don't have the splash screen, you obviously can't click on one of the presets, so you need to go to File, New, and that will also open up the new document window. Now let's start at the top here and enter a name in for our document. Call this Corey's Tutorial. And right below that is the document profile, and that is activated if you use the welcome screen. It will bring up the print document. It will already have the profile selected here, whether it be print or web or video, whatever. Right below the document profile section is an option called number of artboards. Artboards in Illustrator are essentially pages. Illustrator calls them artboards because you can have, when you have multiple artboards, you can also have multiple sizes within of those artboards in your document. So for here, let's go ahead and select 4 artboards just for the sake of me being able to show you some of the other options here. So when you select more than one artboard, it brings up these other options, and it gives you, right next to that, the ability to select how you view those artboards in your viewer. If you want to have them aligned by row or by column. You can also change whether or not you view page 1 from the left to right or from right to left, etc. All that is with these options right here. Right below that is the spacing of the artboards. You can actually choose customized measurements in between your artboards. This is really handy if you have bleeds or you have some artwork hanging off the edge of the pages, and it really helps for measuring and stuff like that. When you have all your ruler setups and stuff like that, it can really help. It can really help be a little bit more accurate with your rulers. Right next to that is also an option for your artboards. It gives you an option of how many columns you have of your artboards. So if you had 8 artboards and you wanted to view them as 2 columns, 4 high, or 4 columns with 2 rows, etc. So let's go back down to 4 artboards here. Let's go ahead and leave it at 2 columns, so we'll end up be viewing our artboards like this little icon right here. Right below that, we can set some more presets that Illustrator has. These are pretty standard across most software to pick. The size of your paper, size of your artboard, as Illustrator calls it. You can choose letter size, legal size, tabloid. It's all pretty standard paper size for copy shops and commercial printers and the like. Right below that, you can customize your width and height to really anything you want right here. I know points are pretty confusing to people. If you go over to this units here, you get a drop-down menu where you can pick points or use metric, or if you're doing a web or a video document, you can choose pixels. For this tutorial, again, we're going to use inches. The width and the height then, and the spacing, all those measurements will be changed automatically when you select the type of measurement from this drop-down menu. So like I said, over here, the width and the height of your document pages can be customized to whatever you want. We're going to go ahead and use just the letter preset, very standard. And right here is also a pretty standard option in most software to choose between portrait and landscape, or vertical and horizontal. Let's go ahead and leave it at horizontal for this tutorial. Right below that are really our last options to deal with, and that's the bleed. I get a lot of questions about bleeds. Being a graphic designer, essentially a bleed is the ability to print all the way to the edge of the paper. Now, a bleed actually isn't printed to the edge of the paper. It's a print on a large size piece of paper that then has the edges of the ink trimmed off, and that is all established by these bleed settings. Now, bleeds are also there are standard bleed sizes of an 1/8 inch or a 1/4 inch. That is all dependent upon your printer of choice. The printer I use uses 1/8 inch bleeds, so if you click the up and down arrows here, you can choose those sizes, or you can customize. So let's go ahead and choose an 1/8 inch bleed, and that gives that to you all the way around on the top, bottom, left, and right of your document or your artboards. If you needed, for some reason, to customize your bleeds, you can click this button right here where it is indicated make all settings the same. It's a little link button. If you deactivate that button, then you can choose make all of these separate or custom bleeds via their arrangement. So I'm going to go ahead and reset all this back to 1/8 inch. And right below that is an advanced tab. We'll get into an option here just to show you that there are more options. You can select the color mode between CMYK, RGB, some pixels per inch options here, preview mode options, all that stuff. If you truly are a beginner, the only one that is really, really important is the choice between your color mode, and that can also be altered when you actually get into your document. Print standard is CMYK, cyan, magenta, yellow, and black. Video and screen standard is RGB, red, green, blue. So we're going to select CMYK for print, and we're going to close the advanced tab, and we're going to go to the OK button, as we have all of our settings exactly how we want them. And it wouldn't really matter if we didn't, because like I said, we can alter all that after the fact once we have created the document. So go ahead and click OK and see your beautiful document set up. If you look here, all of your artboards are indicated here by this black outline. You'll see this red outline around there is your bleed. I don't know if they chose red for a reason for that, but that is how that is indicated. So you can see your artboards are set up in the columns that we suggested, the number amount that we suggested, and the bleed amount that we suggested. And that is how you set up a basic document in Adobe Illustrator CS5. Thank you for watching.